Hi everyone. Crazy tough times at the moment. Self-isolation, disruption to everything we're doing. You know it's got bad in England when they've had to shut the pubs. It's even happened to my local, the Oaks, and the Globe, and the Sandpiper, and the Nelson, and the Ship, and the Rising Sun, and the Bear. We've heard about this fantastic new idea out of Japan. On-nomi means online drinking. Friends getting together, sharing a drink virtually when they couldn't share one together. So we've invited some of our friends, some of our PH ambassadors, some of the people we work with to have a chat and tell us how they're getting on in this crisis. Hello everybody, it's me again, Andy Blow, CEO of Precision Hydration for another on-nomi, online drinks, and today I'm very lucky to be joined by Louise Minchin, BBC TV presenter and newsreader. Hello Louise, how are you doing?
Cheers, got my cup of tea already. Nice to see
Very
you.
good.
Look at that.
Tea's all round today. Yeah, I've been on the harder stuff for a lot of these, but my doctor said I'm going to get. He said the COVID's not going to get me, but the liver damage will if I carry on.
I know that feeling.
I'm on the tea now. But thanks for stopping in for a quick catch up. So I wanted to start by talking to you a little bit about how we sort of got to know each other, which is through the sport of triathlon, because as well as being a newsreader, your sort of alter ego is this amazing triathlete.
Well, you're very kind to say amazing. I would say, yeah, I am definitely a triathlete. And it's really funny because in the last kind of year or 2 years, I'm kind of moving the description of myself from triathlete to endurance athlete. Because I think, like lots of people, I started out in triathlon with, sprint distance and then Olympic distance. And then I jumped straight from that to extreme triathlons, where I seem to have found my happy place. I absolutely have loved them so much. So I did a Patagonman about a year and a half ago, which was in Chile, followed by Norseman and just absolutely loving those. But I think endurance athlete, because I think triathlete comes with, you assume they're fast. I'm not fast, but I can just keep going for a very long time.
Yeah, and these different endurance events are really exploding, aren't they? I know you've dabbled in a bit of swim run, which has become my sport of choice in the last few years.
It?
Yeah.
Oh, we had a chat, didn't we? We had a chat about it before I went and did the one in Cumbria. I forgot that. And I'm really pleased because this is my only one time I've ever been on a podium. Was it the swim run in Clanberis? So I'm so proud of this mug. I came second. But swim run, there's something I love swimming. That's what I was before I started triathlon. Way back in the day, I used to swim. And I love wild swimming. I love swimming kind of in rivers or in lakes and I don't really like running very much, but I do the swim run mostly for the swims because they're just incredible. The one I did in Clanberis was incredible. Swimming across, I think it's Lake Paddon, isn't it? Yeah. And then the one in Cumbria, we swam across Coniston, we swam across Grasmere. I mean, just so magic. That's why I do swim runs. Just the running is just to get me from one swim to another. Yeah, they are cool events. You get to travel to some amazing places. Before everything got shut down this year, I was lucky enough to go to Los Angeles and do the one in Catalina, the O race out there, which was brutal. Really, really big climbs on the running, but the swimming was like magical. The water was quite cold, but totally clear. And at places, it was like swimming in a tropical fish tank. They're like these little orange and blue bright fish. Really jealous.
Yeah, it was.
I was hoping to do an Attila, but obviously things are really different right now. So it's all off, isn't it? Until I don't know when we're going to be able to do anything. But I was looking at trying to do an Attila this year, but who knows whether that will come off or not.
No, I think we're a partner of the race series, the Attila race series, and we're in constant contact with them. And obviously, all these poor event organisers are having such a hard time, but all trying to predict when they can start up again.
I just think we'll all be, like I went out for a run today, and coming back from that run, I suddenly thought, I really feel like doing an extreme race of some sort. And when they do happen again, we'll all be so excited. And they'll be so oversubscribed probably because we'll be like, let's go do it. So hopefully it'll all be all right in the end eventually.
I think it will. It will come back around, and everyone will. Yeah, like you say, everyone's pent up at the moment. So, so just going back though to your triathlon stuff, because we've talked a bit about hydration and nutrition in the past.
Yes.
Have you ever messed it up doing that?
Massively.
Yeah. Go on
really massively. I mean, because I sort of took up triathlon, I think it's 6 years ago now. And it was 2013. Gosh, the time goes so quickly, doesn't it? 7 years, nearly 7 years now. I took it up, and coming from no sporting background, I used to kind of go to the gym maybe maximum twice a week, do a spin class and a yoga class or something. And then started doing triathlon, and decided that I wanted to try to get into the age group team, the GB age group team, which I did miraculously in 2015. And I went to my first race, and I think I'd only done 2 Olympic distance races. But so my third Olympic distance race was actually a world championship, which is, quite edgy. And it was in Chicago, and my inexperience, I look back, was huge. So I kind of went and put my bike in and racked it up, and all these, I mean, the bikes were incredible, and they all lined up and looking sparkling. And I had a good bike, but not quite on the standard that some of them did. Anyway, when I put my bike in, it was really early in the morning, and it was quite cold. It felt like maybe 12 degrees or something. So I looked at my bike and I thought, I've never even drunk a whole bottle. So it's 40k, isn't it? I've never drunk. I mean, this is ridiculous. A whole bottle. So I thought, so I won't need to. So I got rid of the second bottle, and I think the one bottle I had wasn't even full. I'm not sure I had any electrolytes or anything in it. I might have had maybe something, maybe. Yeah. And then I put a little bit of some jellies, like those jellies that you get on the handlebars. Anyway, so what happened was, by the time we got to the race, it was 2:00 in the afternoon, and it was 28 degrees.
Yeah.
What are you going to need? You're going to need hydration. You're going to need nutrition. Got out of the water, got on my bike, drank the bottle of whatever it was. And as I said, probably had nothing in it, or maybe some carbohydrate or something, on the first lap. So I'm thinking, oh dear, this is bad. I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
I got round the second lap. I mean, it's pretty delirious even then. Came back to my bike again, and I had on the floor a bottle of water, but again, with a lid, silly screw top lid.
Screw lid, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm kind of pretty dehydrated, feeling pretty ropey. Take off the lid, dropped the bottle, right? And I just see it go into the sand, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I knew I was in trouble, but now I'm really in trouble. I look around, of course, there's all these bikes all laden with electrolytes. And I was like, can I have something? Of course I can't. I have to carry on. So I carried on, and I thought, there'd be an aid station. Of course, there'd be an aid station without 1K. There wasn't an aid station for about, I don't know, maybe 3K, 4K. And I got to the aid station, so they go, what do you want? Do you want water? Do you want Gatorade? Do you want water? Do you want Gatorade? And that thing that goes in your head, you go, never do anything on a race you've never done before. So I didn't know what Gatorade was, which is of course a magic drink that would have made me absolutely fine. So I had water. Oh my gosh. So that I can't even begin to describe to you. So I was in a proper state. I couldn't run at all. So have I messed it up? Massively. I don't even know how I finished that race, but I was completely depleted in everything that I needed, mostly I suppose sugars actually, and all those lovely things you have in precision hydration that get me through Norseman and Patagonman. None of that. So yes, I have massively messed up, and I think that was a sort of brilliant thing to do, because then I've kind of learned, actually it's something you need to take seriously, and if you get it right, then life is just a lot easier.
Definitely. A huge amount of the athletes we work with end up coming to us after they've had the big blow up, and then they want to
massive blow up.
Yeah, and then they want to get it. Want to get it right. So I don't think you're alone on that at all. And that sort of, I guess, leads into the. I wanted to ask you about the Heat Is On, the sport relief documentary that you made recently, where originally I believe you were going to Mongolia. It was going to be -30 or something like that.
And you were -30.
So you'd all prepared you and a bunch of other TV folks had prepared to go to get used to this cold weather, and then last minute the coronavirus thing was obviously coming through Asia, and you had to go to Namibia instead, where it was plus 40.
So it makes me quite breathless to even think about it. So 7 days before, they phoned me, and I'd always said to them at the beginning, I said, what do you think about coronavirus? And they were like, we're looking at it. 7 days before, thankfully, they made absolutely the right call and said, look, we're not going to go to Mongolia because of what's happening, and we're going to go to Namibia. And at that point, like, okay, so how hot it is? And they said, oh, we think it's about 35. As it turned out, on the first day, it was 43 degrees in the shade. Wow. And we had no shade.
Yeah.
So just, I've never been in heat like that, actually.
No, and I saw when I watched the documentary on it, that Grimmy had a hard time. And you were, I think it was on the bike stage, wasn't it? When you were, riding with him.
Yeah, that was the first day. I was riding with him, and actually we were doing really well. That was what was the most extraordinary thing about it. We were doing really well. The heat was, how to explain it? You had to be very careful because it was very hot, and then there would be the breeze, and the breeze was like a furnace, and it really genuinely made it hard to breathe. Even if you were doing very, very slow, cycling and putting very kind of little effort in. So we were taking it really, really carefully, and we were drinking and all the rest of it. But yeah, he suddenly got, the heat just overcame him. But it happened very, very quickly, which was alarming, I think, for everybody, actually.
Yeah, I've seen it before. I've been with a friend of mine who got heat stroke in a race, and he had all the same symptoms where you actually get the person starts shivering and almost being cold, getting goosebumps, and then they become feverish, and it can be really, really dangerous. So it was good there were people on hand.
Yeah, we had medics on hand, and they were very quick. But it just happened. Obviously, you've had similar experience. It didn't happen to me, thankfully, but it was a scary thing to watch, but they were there and they dealt with it, so it was all okay in the end.
Do you put it down to your experience with triathlon, that kind of thing, the fitness that helped you cope?
I think genuinely on that day on the bike, because I've done, I'm very lucky, thankfully now where we are now, I've got a turbo and a Zwift. I use Zwift all the time, and I've done something like 6,500 kilometers on Zwift or something, which is not bad.
Good going.
I genuinely, on that day, I was cycling along, and all the races I've ever done, I've never felt this. I just thought, my goodness, all that stuff I've done over the last 6-7 years, this is the day that it counts. This day, this moment in the middle of this desert, that's why I've been doing it. So it was really interesting to sort of, because it wasn't like I'd prepared for that race. It just happened that all the preparation meant that I could get through it.
Yeah, and the mindset stuff.
Yeah, and the mindset as well. That really helped. The mindset about, because I think what was hard was, a lot of it is, I'm, when I'm doing Norseman or whatever, I just think, right, I'm just going to run to that next tree, and then I'm run, and then make a decision. I think, these huge long distances are very difficult to get your head around. And actually, the best thing is not to get your head around it. It's just go, right, I'm just going to go that far, or go for 5 minutes, or whatever. That's how I break it down into really small chunks. So that was hugely helpful. And then oh my gosh, we had this incredible day, me and Rob Rinder, where we did the marathon over 19 sand dunes. Yeah. And actually on that day, I had a completely different mindset. I didn't count the sand dunes. I was just like, there's another sand dune. And then one day there'll be sometime we will run out of sand dunes. But so counting can work, and then it can also work against you. So some days I just like, I'm just in the moment, and I'm just walking up sand dunes for quite a long time.
Yeah, I think you have to have a flexible mindset.
I think maybe you're right. Yeah,
I've definitely done races where I've spent too much time focusing on the finish. When you're a long, long way from the finish, that's a bad idea, because
no, you're so right.
You can't see the progress. I mean, that's what I love at going back swim run. When I did the World Championships one with James, who's one of my colleagues at PH.
I think you read a blog, right? Yeah.
And one of the great things about that race is it's like 70 something kilometers, but you're never doing more. I mean, there is one long run in the middle, which is like 20 kilometers, but the rest of it, you're never more than kind of, the long swims might only be 15 or 20 minutes, and then a long run might be 30 or 40 minutes, but you're always, so you're constantly leapfrogging that next thing to the next thing, which is, but I remember, because I haven't done an Ironman for nearly 15 years now, but I remember the hardest thing about that for me was always that, you're on the bike for that solid block of time in the middle. It's like, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours. And then you've got that huge chunk, and it's very, that's when you have to learn to really break it down into those micro pieces. Yeah. And actually,
I never think at the start, when, for example, a Norseman or Patagonman, I never thought at the start, right, I'm going to be running a marathon, because that honestly would make me just go, well, I'm not even going to get in the water. So you've got to trick yourself.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Yeah, you have. Yeah, we're all very good at that. You become really good at that as an endurance athlete. Is a bit of self-deception. Yeah, I was going to just change gears a little bit now and ask you about what's about more of the sort of day-to-day stuff at the moment, because obviously we're filming this in April, April 2nd.
What day is it? Thursday.
Yeah, and we've got it's Groundhog Day, like every other day at the moment, because we're all basically. I know that you are having to go out to work at least 3 times a week.
Three times a week, yeah.
To film the news on Monday to Wednesday mornings. And how is day-to-day life, like at work, for instance? How's work been impacted for you by all these restrictions and things?
So first thing, obviously, is that, it's been, I think for everybody, it's been a sort of gradual reveal, hasn't it? So first of all, we had to move 1 meter away from each other. So just physically, isn't it? We're now 2 meters away from each other on the set. And then obviously, we don't have business in the studio anymore or sport in the studio anymore. So there's kind of like physical changes, which we're all going through in all our individual lives, aren't we? So that's kind of, it's a new normal, isn't it? And I think already I'm much more used to the new normal. That's becoming my normal. But this sounds such a sort of ridiculous problem to have. But I can't have, normally over the last X trillion years, some lovely makeup artist has done my makeup, and obviously they can't do it anymore. And genuinely, that used to be my work. I don't know if you have anxiety dreams, but that used to be one of my recurring anxiety dreams about work, was I turned up to work and makeup weren't there. And that is now my reality. So guess what? I mean, people say I look more tired. Yeah, I do, because I'm not very good at it. I mean, I might be better at it. We're all tired.
I totally get it. We all have our own anxiety things. I remember mine when I was racing triathlon a lot. I used to have a reoccurring nightmare that I was like walking down to the start and I saw everyone go and the gun went off and I'm not there. And it would always be, and I could tell it. Saying it now to you, I can feel that feeling in my stomach, and it did. It did happen to me once in my career.
Yeah. And what?
Well, in that race, I was lucky that it was wave starts, so I got to go in a later wave. But it was, I tell you what, it was such a stupid thing. I was trying to find my dad to give him the car keys because he was racing as well, and he was in a later one, and it was just one of those things. But what was really funny though at the time was it was at the Bournemouth Triathlon, which is my local triathlon. It's quite a big event, or it certainly used to be.
Yeah.
And I'd won it the year before, and I was up against some good guys. And then the later wave that they put me in was the British Army Championships wave.
So pretty good.
It was still pretty competitive, but there's obviously all these like army guys on the beach at the start, and I had at the time I had quite long hair. And all that they were shouting at me was, "You need a haircut, soldier! You need a haircut!" So it was just a bizarre story. But that was my own sort of personal anxiety thing.
I think once your anxiety thing has happened to you, then that's a good thing. I'm never going to have that anxiety dream again, am I? It's over. I can do my own makeup. It's fine.
Exactly. Yeah, we're all getting new skills because of what's happening. That's for sure. So another thing that I've seen that you're up to at the moment, Louise, is a podcast, and I've been listening. I listened to one this morning with you and Annie Emerson, the Her Spirit podcast, because I know a little bit about Annie because she was a triathlete racing in the same era that I was, and obviously she's gone on to become a fantastic commentator on TV and all sorts of other things now. So how did you two meet through that, or through triathlon, or how did that come together?
Oh, I love Annie. She's like my long lost sister. So we met because I think it was about 2 years ago. She obviously has done the commentary on triathlon for ages. Yeah. And actually, I got the job to be the presenter on the triathlon coverage. So we didn't know each other actually. And we started doing that, and we just honestly we get on really well. We've got she's obviously was an incredible athlete. But there's lots of things about us which are really similar. For example, she lived in Spain loads, so she's really good at Spanish. I studied Spanish, lived in Latin America loads, and I think there's kind of like weird connections that we have. We just got on extremely well. And then last year we did a podcast together called The Tripod. I was so pleased with that name. I just had to do it because of that name. I came up with it on a long drive. I remember it was a really long drive, listening to a lot of podcasts and thinking, there's something that Annie and I could do here. And anyway, so it was called The Tripod. And that took various 3 people into their first triathlon, including Joe Wiley, which was amazing.
Yeah.
And then this year, we've kind of moved it on a bit because we didn't just want to talk about triathlon. We're both really passionate about what I'm really passionate about is trying to persuade people that exercise is like this magic medicine.
Yeah.
It's magic for the way you feel, not just physically, is it? It's how it makes me feel happier. So I just want to pass that on as much as I can to as many people as I can. Yeah. And whether it's you going for a walk or skipping or whatever it is, or doing an endurance event. So now we're working with Her Spirit to try and get it out. And I'm so glad that you've listened, because I don't want just women to listen. So hooray!
No, it was really good. And I listened. There was one with Zoe, the doctor from the Zoe Williams. That's right. Yeah.
Who is with me in Namibia, who is she's not just a GP, she's a television doctor as well. And she used to be a gladiator. I mean, what an amazing lady. So Fantastic. That was a good one. And we were going to do one a month, but obviously given now that what's going on, I think everybody is desperate for, we're desperate for company, aren't we? And for listening to stuff. So we're actually doing one a week for however long, I don't know how long. Who knows? Awesome. And we're all at home. You can just phone people up and go, have you got some time? Yeah, I do actually.
Yeah, definitely. That's what we've found, scheduling interviews and all sorts of stuff. Everyone's very happy to do it. So it's actually been one of the few fun things that's come out of this.
Hasn't it? I mean, it's been, I've chatted to you before, but it's just nice to have a chat, isn't it, with people?
Exactly, yeah. One last question for you then. Yeah. So this one was from the team at PH.
Oh, is it? Okay.
If there was a race off in the studio, do you reckon you fancy your chances against Dan? Because it's Dan Walker, isn't it? Your co-presenter. Well, Dan looks like a pretty fit guy, but could you take him on?
Well, anything over 100 meters, I'm going to win.
Yeah. Great. That's what we.
Would that be fair enough?
Yeah.
Maybe it have to be longer, but anything anything that's got distance in it. Just because I just love it. And it's when I'm 40. I mean, as I said, I don't like running, but it's when you've done 40 minutes that I start beginning to enjoy it. So I think anything with distance, I'd be all right. But I think he's pretty fast on a short distance.
Yeah.
And we're both very competitive.
Yeah.
With each other.
Well, maybe we'll have to see if that can be arranged sometime then. Maybe meet in the middle and do 400 meters and see. That could be the optimum. See,
I'd have to have a really good warm up, wouldn't I? And then I'd be all right. If I'd done like 2K before, I'd probably be all right.
Awesome.
Oh, it's so nice to chat.
Yeah, no, thanks for sparing the time. I know you've got more stuff to get onto today, so we'll let you.
I'm doing another podcast today, so thank you. I'll say hi to Annie from you.
Yes, please do, and we'll speak to you again at another time in the future, I hope.
And thanks also for all the help, because honestly, it's made a big difference to me. So thank you very much indeed.
Wicked. That's what we're there for. Thanks a lot, Louise. Have a great afternoon.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye.